Hello everyone. My name is Munmun Poddar and today we are back for another exciting Facebook Live with our expert Richa Mohta. And please do pardon me, I have a very bad cold. Today's session is kind of very resonating with each one of us actually, whichever life stage you are in. It's about societal pressure versus self and who is winning. Why do we say who is winning? Because many times it has happened that we did say an yes because we thought that was a decent thing to do. That was what was expected from us, and we thought that that is going to make everybody happy, but many times it has been at the cost of our own happiness, feeling stressed, fatigued, not to forget the emotional turmoil we have gone through. We thought apt that at Searching Soulmate we do discuss this very important topic because we are a little ahead of time. We are supposed to start at 7 o'clock. We are waiting for our expert to join. So why we thought that this is so important in today's time, because there's a lot of conversation where the Gen Zs have started they have just a second. Yeah. So I am adding Richa. So the today's generation is choosing their own well-being. Hi, Richa. Welcome to the
Hi.
conversation. Yeah, you know what, Richa? I think we have to sit a little behind because the other day when the final video was, kind of downloaded, when I tried to download the entire thing and it was up on Facebook, the half the faces were there. So let's just
Okay.
stay a little away from,
Sure.
maybe at least some of the face will come in that case.
Right.
So I was telling that today, while we have this very important discussion which we are doing, and I'm sure it is relevant to everybody, like it's not something which is for a specific group of people. It would be for everybody irrespective of the age bracket they are in, because most of the time we have probably chosen something जिसे कहते हैं मन मार के, or maybe we have chosen things happily for ourselves. Maybe we've been very happy about the decisions which we have taken. To all the viewers who will be joining in, I think all of you can actually do something. So if you have chosen self, you can write self, and if you have kind of chosen what was told to you, like what society told you, maybe you can write society, or maybe pressure you can write. So we also understand how you are dealing with the challenges or the decisions which you probably need to take. Not challenges always, but maybe decisions, I would say also. I was also saying that today, there's a lot of conversation about how the Gen Zs choose themselves over what is expected from the society as large, or what is expected as per the norm. But I think somewhere in between we have to draw that fine line, and where it is, we're going to discuss that. Is it maybe that fine balance between being selfish and being selfless? So I think that conversation is majorly around that. And also, as we kind of discuss this, I think some people will join in. I think what we also need to understand is that no matter where we are today, no matter how there is technological progress, how there is so much of technology intervention into our life, but there are certain I would say societal fabric which is expected from us, and many times kind of living by it, or choosing not to kind of live by it, can actually raise a lot of questions, and lot of I think lot of discontentment at home, I think. So with that, without much waiting further, let me introduce Richa. Richa is has been with Searching Soulmate for some time now, and it's always a privilege to have you in conversation, because I really look forward to these meaningful, those 45 minutes where our viewers also get to, learn a lot from you. So, Richa comes with 5 years of, over 5 years of experience. And through this experience, what she is a clinical psychologist by profession. She holds a MPhil from the Amity University, and she also is the founder of Self Pivot, which is a mental health organization, and it's also around a kind of group she's creating where she wants people to make speaking about emotional well-being, mental health, a fluid topic, where there is
Yeah.
no, yeah, where people don't think that I shouldn't be speaking about such terms. And something, I heard one of the top skills, not one, are many. Some of them are talking therapy, mental health workshops, employee wellness program, dance movement therapy. And she basically kind of takes care or helps people going through certain emotional challenges, where she has a blend of mental health practices as well as talk therapy, so it is more holistic in nature, and people feel more relaxed. I would say people feel more happier, coming and conversing with Richa. So happy to have you for the platform. And to all the viewers, I have a runny nose and I have a very bad cold. So you have to excuse me if I continuously do like this, or sneeze or cough. So you have to excuse me. So, without
No social pressure, Monu. No
no,
social
yeah,
pressure.
no social pressure. I am extremely sorry. I really can't help myself today. If I have to sneeze, I have to sneeze. So, I was like, just while we were discussing, I remember that, while, our stages of life are, I remembered that, and I actually looked up. So, our Upanishads and all our uh,
Hmm.
the I think a little bit is mentioned in our Vedas and Shastras also, where
Mhm.
our life stages were primarily kind of divided into four parts. I remember studying it. Okay, so it got me very curious. Like, what were those? And I remember it was like brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas, which we had studied. But today life is a little different. Of course, we don't live to 100 years, though the life expectation has increased. Saying so, like, can we, like, while we discuss on societal expectation and pressures and ourselves in it, I think we can also kind of divide our lives into four segments. So, maybe we'll start with the childhood. Richa, let me ask you, so what's that one childhood pressure you felt?
Oh, one. But starting is definitely marks and a lot of trauma. I will call it trauma. I'm going
Yeah.
to call it trauma, which came from maths. Okay, to get better marks in maths, to get better, or else you'll fail, or else you'll fail. Like
Yeah.
that was like
Yeah.
ringing in my
Yeah.
head.
Absolutely. And you know what? For me, I remember very early on, in my entire family, like most of them, I think most of them, everybody of them, barring me,
Mm,
they all
mm,
have, they have studied science, and most of them are
mm,
like the IITUs and JUs of the world.
mm,
And
mm,
here I
mm,
was wanting to do commerce, okay, for the love of
mm,
numbers. So I remember it was a war at home. So the
mm,
expectation was for me to become a doctor, but I
mm,
ended up taking commerce, and hence I cut short my, that
mm,
opportunity, or maybe I could have been. So I think
mm,
for me early on, that was a huge, kind
mm,
of thing. Apart from the fact that, like you, I never used to study much, so that was separate. But when it came to choosing, there was a
mm,
certain expectation, and but I chose
mm,
myself over there. So I
mm,
think I did choose myself, and I think till day that was one of the best decisions of my life.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So now that to all who have joined, even you can mention something which you did very early on, in as a child, as a young adult. So, while growing up, was there anything which, Richa, you remember, which was around societal expectation, something which bothered you big time,
Hmm.
maybe around the young adult age?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things, but one of the things was body shaming, definitely.
Hmm.
And not like when I look back, it's not just about, okay, how fat you were or how thin or whatever, but also this expectation to dress up like adults,
Yeah.
or to dress up. So I never used to be, I was always a private person, introvert, and like I wasn't into all those, Indian kapde ke sath whatever we wear at that time.
Hmm.
When I came to my late 20s, it automatically came into
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
But that expectation to dress up, like, why are you not dressing up like the other girls?
Hmm.
And why are you uh, like, if you're fat, then why are you fat? When you went thin, why
Yeah,
have you become suddenly so
yeah,
thin? So
yeah,
yeah, that
yeah.
that definitely.
I think even for me, na, I think growing up days can be a little punishing because there's a lot of people, lot of conversation, lot of chatter around you,
Hmm.
and I think one for me was I was a little bit of a tomboy, and I was finding myself out. I was trying to find
Hmm.
what is it that I liked, what I wanted.
Hmm.
So I used to be kind of decently good in sports, and I used to
Hmm.
kind of keep to myself a little. And somehow now when I think back, I did feel that people did kind of feel that I was a little not I was kind of excluded from a lot of conversations,
Hmm.
a lot of
Hmm.
groups, I remember. And of course,
Hmm.
you feel bad about it, and
Hmm.
just because I was not like the other girls, not like my
Hmm.
other cousins, I was a little different, and hence
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
treatment, I would say. And of
Yeah.
course, that does take a little bit of
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
little toll on your young minds.
Hmm. Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something I still take with me. And had it not been for my my one of my schools where I was studying,
Hmm.
I give a lot of I really appreciate the school, because I
Hmm.
think that made me come out of my shell. So, on one
Hmm.
side, there is
Hmm.
an expectation which was not set right, but then on the other side, somebody helped me out of it also. I think that's
Hmm.
equally there. I think the next would be, while, like, question again to you, while growing up, like as you moved into your 20s, was there, or maybe early 30s, was there something which kind of bothered you again, which was expected of you?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, you are supposed to act like adults,
Hmm.
which in societal definition is you have to be confident.
Yeah.
You can't say that you're scared. You can't say I don't know. Like, you
Hmm.
don't know things. You have to
Right.
pretend like you know everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, it comes with a certain level of ridicule,
Hmm.
certain kind of like making you feel embarrassed about who you are as person,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
somebody you don't know anything, I know better than you.
Hmm.
That kind
Yeah.
of a weird kind of a competition
Right.
with
Right.
people around you. I
Right.
think that was definitely, and that's not something that anybody told me directly, but
Hmm.
it is what you're
It
made
does.
to feel, that you have to earn respect
Yeah. Yeah.
with the people that you love.
Yeah. Yeah. I,
So
I, I
that was
think
definitely,
I think we both are kind of speaking on the same topics
yeah.
actually, because for me, that that decision of mine to switch to commerce was something
Hmm.
which I had to prove for a very long time
Hmm.
to my friends and family, like more so family, not of course my parents, but to the
Hmm.
family as such, where that decision was good, and I had to
Hmm.
succeed in career. It was not a bad
Hmm.
decision, and I had to really work for it, because
Hmm.
subconsciously that decision weighed on me. So I think
Hmm.
somewhere, I believe that the decisions which we take for ourselves, we also
Hmm.
feel a little, um, I would say, like as I mentioned, it weighs on me. It does feel
Hmm.
like, I am responsible. So I have to
Hmm.
take that ownership. that I
Hmm.
will make good of it. So I think somewhere
Right.
that expectation can also be very challenging when you're a little younger, and I think
Yes,
the
exactly.
last we both will agree, sorry, we can cut it short over there. So when you are
Or else we'll go for hours, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. So I just skipped that entire conversation. I jumped into it. I'm sure most of a lot of women, a lot of men have
Hmm.
who feel that we'll get married at a time when we think best, when we find the
Yes.
right partner. They also, of course, there are a lot of societal pressures and peer
Hmm.
pressures, not to forget. And then
Yes, definitely.
sometimes some decisions do boomerang, and of
Hmm.
course, some decisions are also, good as
Hmm.
such.
Hmm.
So that we have set the tone, and
Yes.
I'm sure, it's not something alien to most people. You
No.
just kind of covered a few. There would be many more.
Hmm.
We've lived in an urban city all our life, so our challenges would be a little more similar. But people,
Hmm.
the audience
Yeah.
who would be watching it from other parts of the country, I am sure that
Hmm.
your challenges can be varied. So, at any point of time, if you want to write it down or send us, please feel free to write something. And if time permits us, we'll take ask Richa to take that particular
Hmm.
challenge, or how you plan to, like, your thoughts around that challenge and how it can be overcome. We can kind of discuss it out.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
now that we have discussed the societal pressure and its impact almost everywhere, like, we both have met because of professional reasons, and yet we
Right.
have similar kind of,
Hmm.
challenges
Hmm.
which we have faced. So, do you think that there are some reasons as to why it happens?
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, we definitely have to go to the developmental stages when the child is growing up, because most of the rules that we follow are never really formed as an adult, like in the
Hmm.
sense of the pressure that comes from the world.
Hmm.
So definitely, I'll say, there's Carl Rogers who had mentioned about conditions of worth.
Hmm.
Okay, and that is what I would say, especially in our culture, our worth is sort of tied to how agreeable you are with people, or how much do you obey things,
Okay.
you know. And so what happens is you learn that if I please other people,
Hmm.
that's when somebody tells me that, oh, you've done a good job. See, so many people respond in a certain way. Or let's say if you put yourself last and then you do things. Oh, see, she's such a nice girl. She
Hmm.
carried this thing for everybody, and then she's sitting to, uh, uh, you know, uh, eat her food or whatever.
Hmm.
Even with our mothers, like we
Yeah.
glamorize them by putting more
Hmm.
responsibilities on
Hmm.
them.
Hmm.
So there's this definitely this thing, and usually parents in our culture, they don't tell you that, okay,
Hmm.
you can do things. You
Right.
don't have to think of the expectations that are coming to do your thing,
Hmm.
and we are there. So that kind of conversation never really happens.
Hmm.
So when you continuously grow up listening to this idea that only when I do something which is in connection to fulfilling these expectations will I be accepted. So
Hmm.
now that begins this whole process of, like, even if you think differently, like you do not want to fulfill all these expectations, but somewhere it's so conditioned
Hmm.
within us that even if we don't want to be part of a race, somewhere we are trying to fulfill that for people,
Okay.
you know. That is something that is definitely there. And of course, when you see people around you also not fighting, like you are the only person who's sort of trying to make a
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you see yourself alone in that process.
Hmm.
So somewhere we have taught each other that agree, obey, respect, and respect means agreement. It doesn't mean that you put across a point differently or anything. So that kind of conditioning really, takes a lot of toll, and it becomes then a battle to not fulfill that expectation, you know.
Uh, so, uh, so I think something which you mentioned, like, it's in the DNA of
Hmm.
how we
Hmm.
have grown up,
Hmm.
and like it's passed through generations on generations. And
Hmm.
I think somewhere we've learned, we've seen what our parents used to do, their parents have seen what their parents used to do, and so I think there
Yeah.
was this I like some of the advertisement which comes in where the woman being kind of spoken up as dashabhuja, like 10 hands is not always,
Ah,
I think,
correct. Right.
don't make it a normal thing. It's not normal,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I think there was some thing, and I think it's perfectly okay, like, because many times uh, not living up to a particular expectation
Hmm.
or not
Hmm.
doing something because you're not being able to do that particular thing because you're probably not up to it. Okay, I think
Right.
we need to understand and make it like it's okay, like it's not
Hmm.
really a issue in that way. So I think
Hmm.
if what you say as a psychologist, I guess that's how we have to think. We need to train our
Hmm.
minds. And so can you suggest a few conflicts that you have
Hmm.
noticed, like because I as a practicing clinical psychologist, I'm sure a lot of
Hmm.
people come with this very pressure points. How do
Yeah.
we handle this? So
Hmm.
something which you can share with us.
Definitely, definitely. So with a lot of my clients, I see that burnout,
Mm.
years of agreeing. So some of the places that it definitely shows up is life decisions. So a
Mm.
lot of times people end up making decisions about marriage or about career or about work, not based on their own values or their choices, but because, I can't disappoint people around me.
Mm.
So such big life decisions that will change the entire course of your life, basically,
Mm.
are taken in that way.
Right.
Sometimes, like even like there's this constant battle between perfectionism
Mm.
and choosing yourself because we've been told that you can't really be not good enough. So
Yeah.
we keep on perfecting, perfecting, perfecting. Then in like simple work situations like drawing a boundary, like
Mm.
okay, this is not my job to do, this is your job to do. Like we struggle with even saying things like that, uh, parents definitely, like a lot of people now, I would definitely say that after millennials this has started changing, where people have started questioning themselves. But a lot of times parents emotional responsibility, like how they should be, the work that they should be putting on themselves,
Mm.
are given to the child, that you now handle it. And now
Mm.
then they find it very difficult to like draw that boundary. They're
Mm.
constantly compensating for something. So these are like some examples of like everything changes in terms of like intensity. Some are less intense situations, some are
Right.
more. But it is definitely a um, lot of like not being able to value yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and I think lucky are few of us who could actually choose, because I think that's how the structure has been, that this is
Hmm.
to kind of this is the timeline, you need to do this, you need.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes I think where we are,
Hmm.
there is something more which has happened, the change which has happened, I think because of the technological interventions in our life.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
not just intervention, it is interferences also, because
Hmm.
there's a lot of chaos around you. So there
Right.
is a lot to live up to. So
Hmm.
I think peer pressure has become something very real, and that is something which Gen Zs also say, that
Hmm.
whatever the stress which we feel, that societal thing, maybe they are not probably adhering to what society at large is saying. They are prioritizing themselves at workplace or with parents. But when it comes to peer pressure or trying
Hmm.
to be, I think that's something which they have also not mastered, actually. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they have not mastered. And I think so every generation had a different kind of pressure. So maybe
Yes.
for our parents' generation, it was, do you have your own house? That was the
Yeah.
pressure.
Hmm.
Do you have a government job? That was the pressure. Maybe today, the millennials, for them it was more like, are you an engineer? Are you with a, are you
Hmm.
a tech company? Do you have a, a big car?
Yeah.
Did you marry at the right time? Did you go for those foreign trips? And then
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
that's how
Yeah.
generational shifts have also happened, basis the
Definitely.
way I think society around us has also
Hmm.
kind
With
of.
Gen Zs, I also feel like the digital world
Yeah,
is something that has created a whole lot of different
yeah.
pressure
Mm.
because everybody is presenting themselves in a way, and you feel
Yeah,
like, your world is small,
yeah,
and you feel like this
yeah,
is what the world
yeah,
is,
yeah,
basically.
absolutely.
All the whole world is in there on the screen,
Yeah,
and this is what
yeah.
it represents.
Yes, yes. And I think it's a different standard. Be it beauty,
Yeah.
fashion, be it, those picture
Hmm.
perfect romantic getaways or those travel destinations. I think everything has become a different kind of pressure point for all of us.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
with that, I have to ask you, do you think that that after all this, that you see so many of your clients, and as we discuss, I know it's
Hmm.
some of them I have the courage to reach you, but most do not reach, a second,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So we live in a culture where it's just not about choosing self, but also about society, the
Hmm.
values which have been taught to us, the community at large. But at the same time, what is happening is that, as we discussed, that because of everything, technology taking over, there's a lot of burnout also happening. So
Hmm.
how to get that balance in this tricky situation, and can she do something, like what
Hmm.
does she do about it, like
Hmm. Hmm.
something can be done.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of ways to look at it, but um, the word that's coming to my mind just right now is the difference between connection
Mm-hmm.
and societal
Yeah.
expectation or compromise that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because with connection, when you are trying to build a connection with somebody or that kind of relationship, that balance almost comes very organically, where you know how to prioritize or what to do. But when it comes to the world at large, or okay, what the society is expecting from you, that's where we lose our balance because we lose ourselves in that process. Right. So sometimes so we have to describe in our mind that is this connection for me? Is
Yeah.
this something I do not like? Right. And in a society that we live in, there will be days when we have to do things that we don't want to. So
Mm.
there's a lot of times a negotiation instead of like balancing. It's a lot of negotiation that you have to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, that okay, the battles that I pick
Mm.
or the events that I choose to go, or the people that I choose to actively talk about certain things but leave
Mm.
the rest because they won't get it,
Mm.
and to find people who will get it.
Yeah.
So there's this constant negotiation that you have to do, definitely,
Yeah.
and because there is no balance per se. Even for, I feel like if you're connected to some people, you will put them in the category of self
Yeah.
only, to some extent. You
Yeah.
won't put them in the category of society always
Yeah. Yeah.
because there's some intimate relationship that is there. But
Right.
with a lot of, like for instance, a relationship with parents or workspace or things like that, that is where that negotiation is something that we really need to do. That, okay, which battles do I choose to fight about, talk about, which do I not? Those kinds of places is where we really put our heads into. And, okay, what do I do so I don't have to lose myself in
Uh,
that whole process?
okay. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I think it's very important, like, to choose some. You rightly said that we live in a society, so we will
Hmm.
have responsibilities,
Hmm.
and we cannot, forego the same. We cannot
Hmm.
say that, this is not our cup of tea,
Hmm.
or this is not something which we need to do. This is not something.
Hmm.
I think you rightly said, what is it that makes you happy? What is it something that you're choosing? Uh, Even if it is a little, selfishly you're choosing, but at the same time, being selfless in the act of helping people, be
Yeah.
part of community, be part of people's life is also equally important, because
Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
how connections make us thrive, and
Definitely.
I
Definitely.
think that is something which people need to understand, because
Hmm.
when we choose ourselves too many times, so we end up probably isolating ourselves from that bigger picture.
Hmm.
So many times,
Hmm.
connections you rightly put in, are of immense value, because here we are choosing those connections. Now that
Yeah.
connection can be not with a person, it can also
Hmm.
be a skill set. You know, it
Hmm.
can, say
Hmm.
example, like, on a Sunday afternoon, a working mom actually wants to spend those 2 hours for her salsa class, which she probably enjoys because that makes her stay fit. And those 2 hours
Hmm.
of dancing, she also gets to meet moms like her. She also gets to meet, she has to get to have that me time. And I think that's, but absolutely okay. Here, it's just not about the people she's meeting or the people
Hmm.
she's leaving behind at home. It's that hobby she's choosing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. And I think that, when you say this, connection is choosing self.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
the whole thing is, what are you compromising on your values,
yeah,
or are you really connecting because there's a need for belongingness,
yeah,
and then there
yeah.
is some also wanting to help somebody. So that connection is you choosing yourself.
Hmm. Right, right. So the reason why I kind of tried to explain it a little more was
Hmm.
because many times connection, we generally think it is equal to people. So it may not
Ha,
be people, it might be
ha,
a
correct. Hmm.
process,
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
might be a
Hmm. Hmm.
skill, it might be a community group, where it's
Right,
a
right.
group of people, it can be
Hmm.
anything, but something which makes you feel happy, which makes you feel
Hmm.
heard, valued, seen. So, I
Hmm.
think that is where, needing to pick and choose becomes
Hmm.
easy. Money,
Yeah.
very important, not easy. I mean to say
Hmm.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you just suggest a few practical steps on how to maintain boundaries while we also,
Hmm.
choose the most important or more important
Hmm.
life events,
Hmm.
which or responsibilities or expectation which
Yeah.
we need to abide by or stand by.
Right, right. So I have some check-in questions that I usually end up asking all my
Mm.
clients at some point in their lives. So I'm going to just list those questions down,
Yeah,
because those questions are more like indices to see, are you getting lost in that process
yeah.
of trying to meet everybody's expectation, as opposed to really, okay, I value myself and yet I'm creating some space for
Mm.
other things.
Yeah.
So here are my couple of questions that I have. So, number one being, is that my inner voice or something I have been told so often that it feels like mine?
Yeah, yeah.
Am I being selfish, or am I adding myself to the list of priorities?
Right, right.
Does this align with my values, or do I feel zero connection to it?
Hmm. Hmm.
Am I setting the boundary to explain myself to others,
Hmm.
or to take care of myself, or to protect
Right,
myself? Do I have a community that will stand by me if I don't play by their rules?
right. Hmm.
And is this absolutely crucial for me, or is there room to negotiate?
Yeah, right, right. I think the way, these questions are very thought provoking to
Hmm.
all of us. I think every question may not be relevant, but whichever question is relevant, I think it's
Hmm.
so important to ask yourself that question. Like,
Hmm.
you were saying that, do I have a community that
Hmm.
will still stand by me if I don't play by their rules?
Hmm.
So I think that's a very, I think a lot of
Hmm.
women today in particular,
Hmm.
they are choosing for very late marriages or no marriages at all. So, is the society getting ready to actually have people who
Hmm.
would be not married without family, and still having a life of their own? I think that's where those communities again become very important. And
Hmm.
that's,
And will they be accepted
yes,
if they
yes.
don't
Because
do all of that?
it's something which happens all the time. So you actually think about it, that your best friend, you basically don't meet her because her life is in a different trajectory altogether.
Right.
Probably
Right.
she's busy with her children,
Hmm.
and she has in-laws, she has a husband, she has a career. She's like, very
Hmm.
much tied up with her work. On the
Hmm.
contrary, you're a free woman. You are not married. You just go back to your own house, and you probably have all the time in the world over the weekends to go for a movie, to go for a
Hmm.
spa, to treat yourself. And then both of you're not there for each other, because all of
Hmm.
a sudden the journeys are very different. And I'm sure it
Hmm.
happens with most
Hmm.
people. It's
Hmm.
not a rarity, it's a commonality, I think.
Hmm.
And if you look in a different way, I think, being selfish, or am I finally myself to the list of priorities, that happens a lot with uh, it's a in a different conversation altogether. Parents, I think, they have a lot of
Hmm.
expectation on children, and many times there is so much of expectation that they even children do not know how to live up
Hmm.
to it, and they become
Hmm.
very burdened, many times.
Hmm.
Of
Hmm.
course, they don't say, nobody says anything, but without saying, probably somewhere
Hmm.
they feel that, oh, this is it,
Hmm.
this is what I have chosen. Let
Hmm.
me live like this. This is the life.
Hmm.
They might be having
Hmm.
a good career, but many
Hmm.
times, they do feel a little burdened. So, and that's also not very uncommon these days, because most of we most of us, I think around would be one or two children, to parents, and
Hmm.
there would be expectations. So I think these are very, very like things which are discussed, but yet not discussed, I would say,
Yeah.
because somewhere I think uh, between I think between self and being selfish and selfless, all those three dimensions, I think somewhere we need to we need to find our mojo. What is it that
Hmm.
makes us?
Hmm.
And somebody who does everything and still is happy, nothing like it. Like,
Yeah.
you've taken all the decisions which were prescribed
Hmm.
by the society, and yet you are very happy. Perfectly okay. There's
Hmm.
nothing wrong. But if you are not, what about it? So if I had to summarize, Richa, like we've discussed at large. So could you share some final thoughts around this
Hmm.
particular topic?
Hmm. One, definitely, that any time that you choose yourself over expectations of other people, you're bound to feel guilty. That's how it is, because uh, that's how we have been conditioned. And guilt is something that comes up when we are not aligning with something. So guilt will come, definitely, but you can't listen to the guilt and do what the guilt says. You have to embrace it and be okay. You know what? I'll
Yeah.
still continue to do this
Mhm.
because I believe in it. So I think we will have to welcome guilt. We
Yeah.
can't avoid it. So that is definitely there. And you know, it is important to ask that, like, am I there in the list of the priorities that is there?
Yeah.
Am I choosing myself? Is it me who's doing this, or is
Yeah.
it my life, or is it am I living by somebody else's life journey? And I have to say that this is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
It's very easier said than done.
Yeah.
It takes small steps. It
Mm.
definitely requires you to go through a lot of emotional, experience to
Yeah.
be able to finally choose yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's like really feels like a
Yeah.
rebellion act, you
Yeah.
know. So that is definitely something that I'll say. And finally, I'll say that sometimes we do need professional help
Mhm.
to be able to navigate that.
Mhm.
And like recently only I had posted a video of unlearning these things, and therapy could be something that could help people to unlearn that. So
Yeah.
that is definitely what I'll say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, I think we've summarized that entire
Hmm.
conversation, because it's finally upon oneself as to how the person is taking that particular, societal pressure, challenge,
Hmm.
responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
Guilty, if you're feeling,
Yeah.
go ahead with feeling guilty, and then slowly everything become normal. And then those small steps you take for your own self. But I
Hmm.
think they end, uh, we should live up to uh, the decisions of our life, and with that, I think, there would be some repercussions. So if we
Hmm.
can live with it, then nothing like it. But as I said, that if you're happy with everything that you have decided in your life, no matter what,
Yeah, definitely.
did you live by the societal framework, and if you're still okay, absolutely okay. There is,
Because that might just be your own framework,
yeah,
you
absolutely.
agree with something.
There's nothing wrong. Just that
Huh.
this discussion is very important, because a lot of people feel stuck. That is the
Yeah,
entire
yeah,
conversation about. And
right.
you do feel stuck, you must reach out to, I think, psychologists, relationship experts, experts who deal around communication. And
Hmm.
I think that's what we do at Searching Soulmate.
Hmm. Hmm.
Richa, you are one of our experts, and I
Hmm.
think it's great to collaborate on
Hmm.
very important topics.
Hmm.
And to all the other people who feels that we just want to find something which can connect us, that connection. On our platform, we have a whole lot of stuff, from starting from the hobby clubs to our experts to digital journaling, and not to forget, finding like-minded people. So you need to
Hmm.
explore, because only when we kind of, as you mentioned, that when we only stand up to what
Hmm.
is bothering us, then only we get a solution. Otherwise,
Right.
of course,
Yeah.
that's life's way of
Hmm.
uh, having its own curves and balls on the.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was a wonderful discussion, as
Yes.
usual, Richa.
Likewise. Always a good
Yeah,
time.
and I think, to all people who have watched now, or who will be watching in the near future, so do take out, do watch the full video. If you have any queries, please write back to us. We'll try to give you an answer. And also do join our platform, www.searchingsoulmate.com. Be part of the community, India's social networking platform for urban Indians. Thank you, Richa, so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank
Right. Take care.